Well, after a week and a half off visiting Grandma in Maine, I got back on a bus determined to get back to the trail. This was a NASCAR hauler going to Loudon, New Hampshire. We weren't by Dartmouth. I almost got in a fight in Boston with a taxi cab driver. This was the bridge between Vermont and New Hampshire. I got these hikers on film. Well, hey everybody, this is Lincoln Gap. Well, after a couple days of bus transfers, a couple taxis, and even my first Uber ride, I was back in Lincoln Gap, which, by the way, a lot of day hikers go there, so it's a good place to hitch to town. Warren has a nice little general store and a $100 hotel if you need it. It felt really good to get back on the trail. I felt rested. My resupply was good. I was by myself. The deal is Joe Fore only had 30 days to hike as much as we could, and we thought we could do the whole thing in 30 days, but we fell well short of that. Well, this is the caretaker's tent set up at Patel's shelter. She was really nice. I got to meet her. The shelter was completely full. Every camp spot around there was completely full. I think we were ahead of the bubble on the LT, and then when we took our time off and came back, I was right in the middle of it. Make sure you get your water here. It was a beautiful day for a hike. It was very strenuous going up Mount Abraham. It reminds me of the Whites, just straight up and down, rock faces. But it was fun. It's challenging. This is the top of Mount Abraham. It's a cool little windbreak they made. 360-degree views. You will notice a funny little brown line, like a haze in the clouds. There's no sign, so all the peak baggers are taking pictures of this little marker. It is over 4,000 feet. Of course, I'm sporting my Red Sox hat I got in Boston. I don't know if you can hear me because of the wind, but this is Mount Abraham. So we made a cool windbreak right here. That was one of the most beautiful views we've had on the whole LT. But there's also a lot of down trees in this section. Some you can climb over, and some you just gotta walk all the way around or take your backpack off and crawl under. This is Lincoln Peak. All this is part of the Vermont Presidentials. A cool little observation deck up here where you can look back at Mount Abraham. That's little Abe, and that's Abraham. You quickly notice in this section of Vermont, all these peaks is ski territory, and you'll see a lot of these gondola stations, the chairlifts. And this was on a weekend when I was hiking, and there was a bunch of people, a bunch of these peak baggers cheating and riding this chairlifts up and then walking to the peak and taking their picture with the 4,000-foot sign. News travels fast on the LT, and some of the other hikers were talking about someone had to be rescued from camel hump the week before. Here I was trying to take a picture of this woodpecker. Everyone was also worried about some storms that were coming in. But I made it to Mount Ellen. This is also 4,000 feet. This is all you get for a sign. You got to take pictures with these rocks. This is the top of Ellen Peak. And down there's the ski area. I'm going to go check it out. It's been a hard day today. The trail's not too bad. It's been kind of rolling, but it's kicking my butt. I think I pulled a muscle in my groin again. Yeah, that's kind of a nagging problem that I've been having. But this time it got so bad that every time I would stop just for a few seconds, every 3 or 4 minutes, I'd feel a jolt of pain that I can only describe as like a shock treatment. And a couple times it was so bad I dropped my trekking pole. And I know it's going to sound like I'm complaining, but I'm just telling you how it was. For me, I'm hiking from dawn till dusk. I can only get 6 or 7 miles. And when water is 12 miles apart, it's just too far. So I didn't have any water this night at all. When it got dark, I just made the most of it, and I camped right by this beautiful overlook. That's Lake Champlain in the distance. I made dinner, and I got to watch a beautiful sunset. Unfortunately, when I set up my camp, I realized that a pack of pepperoni had leaked into my backpack and got all over my hammock. So there was no sense in hanging my food bag. Well, after a windy night, this beautiful orange sky lit up my whole tarp. I've never seen anything like it. It's beautiful. It's ominous. It's gonna rain, but Yeah, this was one of the most beautiful sights I had on the whole LT. Unfortunately, this shelter also didn't have any water. As you can see, the weather was turning bad. This next picture, these two tents have about 10 kids each in them. I assume one for boys and one for girls. This is part of the Farm and Wilderness Camps of Vermont. It's a Quaker organization. I was so impressed with these teenagers and their leaders. We were doing about the same mile, so I saw them a lot. But they had already been on the trail for 26 days straight, without a zero, without going to town. A van comes and resupplies them. But they had gave up their whole summer to hike the whole LT. And a super nice group. I was very impressed. Well, this is Stark's Nest. It's a warming hut for the ski patrol, kind of like Bromley Mountain on the AT. They let hikers stay there. They have this cool water barrel that collects rainwater. It was only about 3 inches full, so I didn't take a chance. The next shelter was only a mile away. Plus, I didn't go in the shelter because it was full of hikers that were sleeping. There's a camel hump in the distance. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll have a few more videos. Please check out Appalachian Trail Who's Who on YouTube.